There is a real problem right now with resurgent, and it's not really resurgent because it's, I guess, been very um, thinly underneath the surface of our society, but with anti-Semitism. And part of it's because Kanye West decided, I'm going to go on an anti-Semitic rampage and I'm wealthy enough where I don't care about it and I don't necessarily think about the consequences because of his own mental health struggles. And he has yes men around him who are going to tell him whatever he wants to hear. Oh, it's so cool to hear about how you you're how Jewish people broadly are evil in his kind of characterization. And Kanye, his explanation was, well, I had a Jewish doctor who wanted me to take my bipolar medication, and that was dulling my senses. And so now I am railing against all Jewish people. That's so obviously crazy that anybody with a lick of sense would understand that that is not someone who you should follow. But the anti-Semites in this country didn't need anybody sane to follow. They just needed an excuse to say what they always felt about Jewish people. And frankly, Kyrie Irving is contributing to this problem as well. So basically, Kyrie tweeted a link to a film called Hebrews to Negroes, Wake Up Black America. It is a book filled with anti-Semitic tropes. Some of the details of this book are disturbing, but it essentially pits black people in this country against Jewish people. And the Rolling Stone magazine wrote about it fairly extensively, but some of the themes in it are that black people are the real descendants of ancient Israelites. It's the kind of black Hebrew Israelite ideology, that they're the true chosen people of God, and that Jews are satanic or occult, which you'll hear Kyrie Irving say in this video, that they are controlling the world and industries like banking and the press and just classic hatred, vile anti-Semitic tropes. And Kyrie Irving was confronted about this in a press conference, and I believe this was after a loss, right? So extra
To the
prickly.
Pacers.
Yeah. Bradley says with kind of like a twinkle in his eye, because that just adds to the overall stench of this team and the distractions that this guy is creating in the locker room, let alone the hatred that he's promoting. And he has a really difficult time handling being held accountable for what he posted on social media here.
Kyrie, while we're on the topic of promotion, why did you decide to promote something that Alex Jones said?
That was a few weeks ago. I do not stand with Alex Jones' position, narrative, court case that he had with Sandy Hook, or any of the kids that felt like they had to relive trauma, or parents that had to relive trauma, or to be dismissive to all the lives that were lost during that.
Yeah, no need to put me up. I just wanted to make a make a point here so that people point out how he only apologizes for Sandy Hook. He does not address the anti-Semitic, or he does. He's forced to because of the questioning by this reporter from ESPN, but he only initially apologizes for promoting Alex Jones because of the Sandy Hook conspiracy theories that Alex Jones spread, but not the, of course, anti-Semitism. So just a note for you all.
Relive trauma, or parents that had to relive trauma, or to be dismissive to all the lives that were lost during that tragic event. My post was a post from Alex Jones that he did in the early 90s or late 90s about secret societies in America of occults, and it's true. So I wasn't identifying with anything of being a campaignist for Alex Jones or anything. I was just there to post. And it's funny, and it's actually hilarious, because out of all the things I posted that day, that was the one post that everyone chose to see.
Right.
It just goes back to the way our world is and works. I'm not here to complain about it. I just exist.
And to follow up on the promotion of the movie and the book,
Can you please stop calling it a promotion? What am I promoting?
put it out on your platform.
But I'm promoting it? Do you see me in front of
Putting it out there,
the
people
title?
are going to say that you are
Yeah, I put it out there just like you put things out there, right?
Yeah, but
Okay.
it's not
You put
stuff,
things out there for a living, right?
right, but my stuff
Great.
is
So
not
let's move on.
filled
Let's
with
move on.
anti-Semitic
Let's
stuff.
move on. Don't dehumanize me up here.
I'm not doing
I'm
that.
another
You're
human
free to
being.
post
I can post whatever I want. So
can post
say that and shut it down and move on to the next question.
But Kyrie, you have to understand that by
I don't have to understand anything from you.
It's
Nothing.
not me.
Nothing.
By
It's no
posting
people that
what
you're
you
making up,
did,
bro. Move on.
But by posting
Move
what
on.
you
Next
did,
question.
anybody
Do
is
you guys have
going
any
to
more
look at
questions
it,
for
and they're
me?
going to say,
You guys have any more
does he have
questions? Because this is going to be a clip.
beliefs?
This is going to be a clip that he's going to marvel at. Is this any more questions?
But you're not answering the question.
Oh, this is another answering your question. Oh my God, let's make another Instagram clip so we could be famous again. Next question.
Kyrie, basketball related.
Yeah, well, he's pretty far gone. You know, it's one thing to promote anti-vax conspiracies. It's, to me, insane, but, you know, it's not necessarily filled with hatred for another group of people. And it's difficult for me to talk about because I don't want to be white lady speaking about how essentially this black man is being bigoted, because the relationship between Black Americans and Jewish Americans in this country, you know, they are all under the thumb of white supremacy and have experienced trauma and hatred in their own ways that are unique and should not be in conflict with one another. They should be in solidarity. And that is the fundamental problem with what someone like, you know, what Kyrie Irving is promoting, is that it pits groups against one another and demonizes whole groups of people, when frankly we should all be in solidarity to fight the patriarchy and white supremacy, and this absolutely does not accomplish that.
I can't tell if Kyrie is this dumb or if he thinks the people that he is talking to are this dumb. Nick Friedell, who did a good job in that exchange, the ESPN reporter, you know the reason why he used the word promote for when it came to that book in that movie is because the link that Kyrie Irving posted on his Twitter account was basically just a description of the movie and where you could purchase the movie.
It was the definition of a promotion. You may have not gotten paid for it, Kyrie, but you still there's free promotion and there's paid promotion.
If I gave someone five chances to describe a tweet that I put out of our YouTube video, what do you that I want people to consume, and ideally at some point maybe we monetize this for example, what would people say? And if they said the word promote, would I be like, oh, actually no, you're a massive dumbass for thinking that's a promotion, and you're actually dehumanizing me, so I'm just going to be a massive asshole to you in response. There's no daylight between being a free thinker like Kyrie is and being essentially a petulant brat who isn't capable of actually responding to good faith substantive criticism. And the reason why he's asking you to answer the question is because you can't actually articulate an argument in response.
Well, he might, but he would get into trouble. That's the thing, is he has this very like legalese kind of response to Sandy Hook in particular, where he parses that and makes it so that's the only thing that he's gonna distance himself from in this way, because there's a Alex Jones is going to be in debt for the rest of his life because of what he said about Sandy Hook. Kyrie doesn't want to touch that. Maybe behind the scenes he feels a certain way about it because he's conspiracy minded. He's like, people thought he was joking about flat Earth. No, he
certainly wasn't.
He certainly wasn't. I mean, he might have said that publicly to save face, but now he's gotten even further down the rabbit hole. And so this is an extremist ideology, and you can be a part of groups that have been disenfranchised and marginalized in this country, systemically discriminated against because of the fact that because of chattel slavery and all of the racism that came from that. I believe in reparations. I believe in affirmative action, aggressive anti-racism, but you also have to believe in combating bigotry against Jewish people, because like there was a genocide not like less than 100 years ago of millions of Jewish people. And so this is not something we're playing around with here, dude. I would be terrified to hear what he actually thinks about the Holocaust.
And notice the pedantry for that he gives in return to Nick Friedell that he doesn't apply to himself. What makes what proof? It seems for some reason that Nick Friedell needs to prove that his job as a journalist is putting things out there. But Kyrie Irving can just say Alex Jones's video about the occult and secret societies is true with no need or no inclination to corroborate a single part of that statement. He can just say it's true, and because he says it's true, and because he's a so-called free thinker that people don't want to have the conversations that he wants to have, people don't want to, have the dialogue that he wants to have, that everyone else is wrong but him. It is so much easier to think that this guy is the smartest person in the room and that no one else can get on his level than it is to actually to engage with literally anyone else who thinks something differently than he does. It's almost as if he needs a safe space for the things that he thinks, and that he does not want to answer questions because it would involve actually questioning anything he actually believes. And you know who are those so-called fake people that Nick Friedell is making up that would be concerned about him posting this stuff? It would also be the owner of the team. And listen, I'm not pro-ownership. I don't give a crap about Joseph Tsai.
Yeah, right.
But that dude cashes your checks, Kyrie. So you might want to think about what he has to say about when he's tweeting literally you and name-checking you, saying, I need to sit down with this guy to discuss why it's so damaging for him to do this. I wouldn't think you'd necessarily think that guy's a faker or that guy's a phony because he's the one who actually pays your salary.
Well, that's the thing is the NBA needs to do something here, and they need to sanction him.
Maybe let's not focus on the tampering with PJ Tucker, and maybe let's focus on what's going on here a little bit.
Oh yeah, I mean, but like, this is the same thing in the NFL. The Miami Dolphins did not get their first round pick this year stripped away from them because of the clear and obvious racial discrimination against coaches like Brian Flores, and against Brian Flores in particular. We're seeing it across the league, by the way. Still, Lovie Smith hired to tank. He'll get fired soon. Interim coach Steve Wilkes in Carolina will be gone after this year. Black coaches who are hired to preside over losing teams. Check a box, and then do away with you. And it doesn't matter what that does to your career when it's on your record forever. What your record was in the NFL, well, hey, we checked a box here. But I digress. The Miami Dolphins were not punished for that racial discrimination. They were punished for tampering with Tom Brady. And so the NBA is a lot better than the NFL, frankly, on these kinds of issues, but still, they're always slow on the uptake. And I just want to give a few more details about what was in this article, because it really is deeply disturbing, frankly. When he talks about the occult there, these sects claim that Jewish people worship Satan, that they are behind, say, some of the conspiracies about drinking blood. It's like a step away from blood libel, which we also see in the United States when it comes to the QAnon folks. I mean, these are the waters that he's swimming in right now, but he's just doing it with like a Black Hebrew Israelite framing. And so we just have to reiterate that equality and tolerance, I hate that word, but acceptance is probably a better word, and understanding of people more broadly, it's not a zero-sum game. And so you should not treat it as something that's finite. And that is one of the fundamental flaws of the way that Kyrie Irving is presenting this. So, deeply disappointing.
Forgive me for my rancor there, but my biggest problem with all of this stuff is not even the substance, which of course, without having to qualify it in any way, is repugnant. It's also the complete cognitive dissonance that these guys put forward. Guys like Kyrie Irving or Kanye West, these people who think that they are forging a path because they are co-signing something offensive and think it's dumb when people get offended by them co-signing something offensive. It's the ability to take responsibility for this thing, and when they're questioned by it, drop it like it's a hot potato, like, oh, like actually it's your problem, not
Yeah,
mine.
right.
You're the one who has the issue, not me. There's no reciprocity for any of their thought processes.
Is Nick Friedell Jewish?
I'm not sure, but
Oh, okay.
Maybe, I don't know. I would have to look that up. But
It's just some of the way he was talking to him. It made me get.
No, yeah, and also, you know, I'm sure there. Listen, I guarantee you, in this press scrum, there are Jewish reporters. There's no doubt that, unfortunately, Kyrie wading into these waters is personal to people around him. Is personal to the people who are in this ecosystem in the NBA, and it just is so frustrating to watch somebody basically promote this stuff. Yes, promote this stuff, and then act completely aggrieved when someone questions him for it, as if he has zero responsibility to anybody, while then also taking responsibility for supposedly co-signing something that is true because Alex Jones posted about secret societies in the occult. So you're the only person who's allowed to think something is true, and nobody else is allowed to think it's not true, I guess.
Apparently.
So, seems like we can't have an honest dialogue here, an open dialogue. Seems like maybe someone is being silenced for their beliefs.
Free exchange of ideas, Kyrie. Let's go. Let's exchange ideas.
When Kyrie is interrupting every single thing Nick Friedell is saying to basically say, shut the hell up, it doesn't seem like there's a huge flowing exchange of ideas there. So interesting take on free speech from Kyrie Irving in that exchange, but. We'll see if the NBA, we'll see if the so-called, you know, the best run this league, this league. We'll see if they do a single fucking thing about this.
Yeah. I'm more hopeful than you. They might, but Kyrie Irving was like willing to sit out when he wasn't vaccinated and lose millions of dollars. So maybe I don't know. He's this far gone. I have no idea.
Yeah, we'll see.